So from a lot of the customers that I've talked to who did try dimming or smart lighting solutions, some of the issues that they had, I mean, even from a perspective where I'm from California, in California with Title 24, they've been pushing dimmable light control for quite some time now. In fact, requiring it for buildings over a certain size. And some of the most common issues associated with that was if you're on the toilet too long,
right,
then the light turns
the
off.
lights would just go out.
It just goes out. And some of them have a backup, a noise detector, so you can clap and turn the light back on. But most often, they didn't have that kind of feature. So that was actually that was a huge complaint for a lot of people dealing with any of these light controls. It turns off when you don't want it to turn off.
Right.
And especially with retail customers, they don't want to deal with dimming at all. No matter how much fluctuation there is with the lighting or occupancy, because at the end of the day, when you actually have physical customers in the store, it's actually very distracting from your shopping experience.
It is.
So we kind of narrowed it down to certain industries where it makes sense. So like office environment, typical office environment, and a typical school environment are the most common areas where we would try to push dimming or
right.
lighting control for that matter. Anywhere outside of that, it really didn't make too much sense, unless if it's a corridor or something in a retail environment, that makes sense. But you're certainly not going to do it in a retail store environment.
Right.
I mean, there are companies that utilize it. There's for example, in the frozen food cases in the supermarket, they would put the motion sensors on there, and for me, we've actually deployed tremendous numbers of those. The lighting that they use inside those frozen food cases. That's actually what we specialized in. And initially, there was a huge push to utilize those the motion sensors on those the frozen food sections of the supermarket.
Right.
But there were two issues with that. One, again, going back to reliability. Theoretically, they were supposed to be more reliable, but oftentimes they weren't. So a lot of these supermarkets that rolled out dimmable lighting inside in their frozen food aisles, they ended up having problems with that. There was a lot of failures, and it just didn't work as it claimed. And the thing is, when they switched over from the fluorescent lights that they had in there to LEDs in the first place, the energy reduction was so substantial to begin with that there was, for that particular use case, there wasn't an additional energy savings by using motion control. I mean, it was already an 80-90% reduction in energy that an extra couple percent would not have made any difference.
Yeah, make a difference. Yeah,
especially considering the reliability factors. So that was one factor, and two was the fact that it's kind of an annoyance to go by an aisle, which when you're carrying around a shopping cart and see the lights turn on, turn off frequently. They did try to alleviate that by using step dimmers, where there was a gradual increase in brightness and gradual dimming, and it helped to some degree. But it was still again, it distracts from the customer's shopping experience. And the last thing any retailer wants to do is
to distract the customer.
Is just to distract the customer. I mean, they're actually the most conservative of all the customers out there, these retailers, because they actually don't want the lights, even the light fixture design, to detract from the shopping experience. They don't want to utilize something that's so high tech looking or something that's so fancy that the customers are looking up instead of looking at the products.
Of course.
So that's another thing that the supermarket and the retail customers have the feedback that they provided is they don't want to distract the customers in any way, shape, or form. So for them, they utilize fluorescent lights and they try to push the LED replacements for fluorescent lights. They don't like utilizing those UFO shaped fixtures because it's typically very glary, and it kind of it's distracting, and a lot of other fixtures out there they take away from the shopping experience, so they really haven't pushed that. So again, the two places that we saw the biggest push for it was the office environments and school environments, where you're at a place where it doesn't distract so much from from whatever you're doing, so it makes sense to do that.